I was saying that I've done 5 Sundays worth of these music chats, and you're the first person I'm talking to that I don't know, but you have a project you're working on that I think is a really great idea, and I'm excited to talk to you about that here in a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you
What?
located?
So I'm in York, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
just right above Baltimore and right below Harrisburg.
Okay.
So
So
not
we're
far.
not too far away from each other, me and DC.
Gotcha. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started on that note? Tell us who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Okay. My name is Fred Knittel. I am located in Washington, D.C. Formerly, I was in Philadelphia for about 10 years, and about 4 to 5 years ago now, I moved to DC for a job with Smithsonian Folkways. What I do, so currently my main paycheck paying job is with Smithsonian Folkways here in DC. I work in the marketing department there, doing all sorts of things, and we can get into that. But for a long time now, for many years, I've been hosting a show it started out on WKDU in Drexel University, and has been continuing on as part of WXPN for a number of years now, called Folkadelphia. It's a weekly radio show. And under that umbrella of Folkadelphia, and during this COVID pandemic, I have all this nervous energy, and seeing all of my friends and musicians that I idolize and look up to and know and all of that, just and feeling hopeless and seeing all of this bad stuff happening to them, canceling tours, all that. So I was like, I got to do something. So I started this co-mission project, which is basically a way to just give back in any sort of way I can. And we can chat more about that as well, whatever you want to do.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us about it, about commission?
Sure. So commission was, the name is sort of a play on words, not really that much. It's kind of stupid. It's based on commissioning artists to record music. And, every musician I know right now, all they want to do is do their profession, right? They want to create art, they want to get out there, they want to share their art with people, and they want to make money off it. They want to live off it. And so that, and I know, with the coming of this pandemic, it came at such a time where this is such a usually a fruitful time for people to get out on tour early spring. And South by Southwest, all the festivals start getting going, and so I know many people, especially people that are sort of developing artists, who have sunk a lot of money into basically taking that step from being a regional or kind of a semi full-time musician to taking that leap to being a full-time musician. Those people are getting rocked. So the idea with commission was, okay, so I have this radio show called Folkadelphia, and we have some amount of donations and money that we have saved up. Mostly we use this for, technology needs that we have, or keeping our website afloat, or whatever it is, silly things like that. Right now, we have a store of that money. We're not using it for anything. I look out there, I see all these people not doing well, not sure how they're going to get to a grocery store, not sure how they're going to put gas in their car, whatever it is, pay rent. And I was like, okay, well, I can't solve all of those problems, but, I can figure out a way to get some money to them in a meaningful way where it doesn't necessarily just feel like, here's some money and good luck. I wanted to make it a way where that they feel like they're doing their job still. They're doing their creative art and work. And so we tinkered with the idea for a while. me and my partner at Folkadelphia, his name's Clark Connor. He does all the audio technology needs that we have and has done all the radio sessions that we do and all that. And so we came up with this idea where, okay, so we're going to give artists $100. $100 to record in the safety of their home, whatever sort of audio studio setup they have. Some people we talk to have a full-on, studio in their home, and that's amazing and that's great for them. Some people have a cell phone. Some people have a laptop with GarageBand. So we said, okay, who cares about that? Do whatever you can, and we'll clean it up. We'll fix it up. We'll shine it up. We'll master it at the end, and we're gonna have a compilation that sounds a little all over the place. But that's not the point. The point is to get some money to people, to let them do the work that they want to do, and also, to shine a light while we put this compilation out, to shine a light on all of the work that they do and the different ways that people can support them. Because, $100 isn't a lot of money at all. It's a trip to the grocery store. But the thinking is that that in concert with the shining the light on people can, generate a little bit of action for these contributors. So anyway, so we're giving $100 to a bunch of artists. They're making a home recording. They're giving it to us, and they're not exactly giving it to us. They're non-exclusively licensing the recording to us. So basically, they have full rights to the recording. Conversations I've had with people, they were like, hey, can I use this? When can I use this track that we record? If I really like it, can we do something with it? I said, absolutely. As soon as you record this track, you can do whatever you want with it immediately. I don't care. It would be great if you gave a little space for the compilation that we end up putting out to breathe, and so we can, shine a light on this. But I was like, whatever you guys want to do it. That's for sure. So anyway, people contributed. So we got about 15 people, we commissioned a handful of these people, and another handful of these people said, you know what, I'm doing okay. I'm financially in an okay spot. Let me donate a track to you for this compilation. So we took all these recordings that we've non-exclusively licensed, and we put it on Bandcamp as a compilation. And so that's what we just put out this past Wednesday. We put out a 15-track compilation of artists, primarily, it's all American artists at the moment, but I'd love for this project to reach people, around. But it's people from all over the U.S., and a good number of those people are people that I know or have come in contact with in some ways in Philadelphia doing Folkadelphia. But some of them are people that I've met more recently through my travels or communications, or people that I've not met yet, and that people connected with me through other people, or they found out about the project and reached out. So that, in a very long-winded way, is commission. So the idea is get some money to people, get them to record a track, make a compilation album of it. All the money that we get, which this is another component of it, get all the money that we make from it on Bandcamp now. We're not keeping any of it. Now, we're also not giving it directly back to the artists that just contributed. We're going to be using the money to fund the next wave of commissions. So the idea is, even whether we're in this pandemic or not, the idea is we can kind of keep this project rolling now to get little $100 to people here and there to just record a song and to shine a light on the struggles that they're having as an artist. Of course, right now that's this pandemic. So anyway, I'm going to take a little glass of water right now.
I think that's a fantastic idea. It's very much in the spirit of what I've been doing with these chats. We do download the videos and then post them to I run a concert series called Cable House Presents here in New York. And so we're sharing them slowly on the Cable House YouTube channel and adding, links and tags and things like that on social media. And we've heard from a couple people that said they've gotten new Patreon subscribers, they've sold records or whatever. And that's kind of the idea behind it. You're doing it in a more tangible way and a little bit of a bigger scope. And I think it's just wonderful to see the creativity people are using to try to do that, to try to amplify who's out there, what they're doing. and bring some new listeners to them. So
Yeah.
I commend you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think,
it's a cool idea.
I think we're all doing whatever we can to get people that have some money to get that money in some ways to artists, and whether that's a video series or shining a light on people's Patreons or whatever it is. No one has a monopoly on charity here. We're all just trying to do our best to support the artists that we love and know, and the artists that we idolize, and the artists that we don't know yet, and we're finding out about them right now. And I think that's been a really good, that's been a silver lining in all of this for me, has been connecting with all of these people, and being in touch, and being way more open than I feel like we've ever been before with people, but also hearing all sorts of music that I didn't know about, and meeting people. That's been one of very few silver linings in all of this. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, and to that end, I want to ask you, when you're not working on that, what have you been listening to?
Okay, I pulled out a few records over here
Oh,
to show you. But so the big thing I've been listening to, and I think everyone's been listening to this right now, is the new Fiona Apple record.
Yeah.
Unbelievable record. It's just I'm obsessed with it, and I think everyone else is. It's like we needed it right now, and it came right now.
Yeah, and it's unanimously beloved.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm a big fan of that. I've been listening to it a lot. Besides that, I've been enjoying the new Laura Marling record that just came out as well. It's very short, but it's a sweet listen, and it also came at a time when I think we all needed it as well. So Laura Marling, Fiona Apple. My preferred medium is vinyl. So I actually just moved to a new apartment during all of this, from a group home where everything was just in my room and it was cluttered and it was awful, I'm now in a 1-bedroom apartment. And so I'm sprawling out all over the place. And so I have my whole record set up just behind me here on the couch. And so I've been going through my collection, just pulling things out and enjoying things. So some records I've been enjoying, and it's kind of all over the place. I've been having lots of Fleetwood Mac dance parties with myself and my cat. So we got Fleetwood Mac Tusk over here. Right here. I've also been listening to more like chilled out music. So one of my favorite records is former Philadelphian Meg Baird. This is Seasons on Earth. She used to be in a band called the Espers. She's in a band called Heron Oblivion. Just amazing folk musician, balladeer. And then a favorite of mine is this band Stars of the Lid. They're just like droney ambient stuff. And so things like that have been a big source of comfort to me. I can just put it on and kind of feel my feelings, as it were.
Sure. I've also appreciated, you've been streaming while you're listening to the Folkadelphia show. You've been doing Instagram Live and cooking and dancing with your cat, and that's been super fun.
Yeah. I mean, we're all stuck inside. We're all sort of losing it a bit, and me maybe more than others. But yeah, I mean, so obviously I don't live in Philadelphia. I haven't in about 4 or 5 years. So I remotely record Folkadelphia radio for WXPN, which is in Philly. I've been doing that since I've moved. So sending it in has not been a new thing for me, but I've sort of kept up the illusion that I'm still sort of in the studio, even though it's a fabrication. But anyway, who cares about that shit now? I've just been, I've been trying to have fun with it. So yeah, I've been, streaming the show. I have my little, speaker set up here and just blasting the show, having Instagram going. And every week I try to outdo myself in how bizarre I can get. So the first couple of weeks was me just dancing. And then last week we cooked a pound cake. I ran out of regular flour and I just have lots of rice flour right now. So we made a rice flour pound cake. But it's really hard, I realized, to narrate cooking, which is something I've never done before, to bake while you're doing that, and then also heavily drinking. It's just hard. Who knew? Who knew? I had no idea.
Who knew that alcohol would complicate something?
I know. I thought it would make it easier, and it'd be like, "Oh, check out this whipping." No, I was like panicking. But the pound cake turned out okay, and
Good.
here we are. So yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday night, and who the hell knows what I'll be doing? I don't know yet.
I can't wait to find out. I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
you if you still had more records. I just got really
Oh
excited.
no, no. The only thing else I would tell you that I've been listening to a lot, and you got my cat here in the background hanging out. That's Rodney. I just got a couch, so he's like thrilled. But what I've been listening to, so I work at Smithsonian Folkways in DC. I've been doing that for about 5 years, and I'm in the marketing department. And a thing that's sort of under my purview has been sort of making sort of running our digital like streaming service playlisting. So we have the Smithsonian Folkways channel on Spotify, on Apple Music, and so what does it look like? What are we offering to people? Smithsonian Folkways Recordings is sort of a broad-based term for all of the labels underneath Smithsonian Folkways. So there's thousands and thousands of records from many, many decades now, all over the place. And so the common complaint that people tell me when they think about Smithsonian Folkways is, how the hell do I navigate this? Like, what do I listen to? Where do I start? So we are trying, as the marketing department, probably most of the things we do is how do we give people pathways through the collection of recordings, right? So playlists are a great idea for that. So what we've been trying to do is have like a range of playlists. So sometimes people curate them. Sometimes we come up with a theme. None of this is groundbreaking or rocket science or anything like that. But now that we're all stuck inside, and I think many of us are itching to hear new music and to discover new things and to learn new things. So we've been trying to amplify the playlists we have and to come up with new ones and stuff like that. So I've been spending a lot of my time lately making playlists. So another thing I've been listening to a lot lately is tons of children's music. Folkways has an extremely huge store of children's music from Woody Guthrie, Ella Jenkins, Pete Seeger, Elizabeth Mitchell. We have bilingual stuff. We have things from other countries. We have songs to teach you how to speak in other languages, all over the place. So, and some of it is super bizarre. It's like before children's music became like a thing that we could figure out, like kind of the stuff you want to include in there. And so some of it is really weird. So I'm working on a playlist for children's music. So I'm just about done with that one. And I've moved on now I'm trying to make like a chilled out, ambient sounds and things like that you can kind of put on and just zone out. And there's tons of that as well in the Folkways catalog. Folkways originally lasted until the early 80s, and then the Smithsonian acquired it in the early 80s. So in the late 70s and early 80s, there's some weird stuff that they basically like gave the green light, and they were like, yeah, whatever, we don't care anymore. I don't know the real stories behind tons of these records, but there's a lot of early electronic music and a lot of early new age records and stuff like that. There's also all sorts of spoken word poetry and field recordings of sounds of ships and the rainforest and the junkyard and all sorts of weird things. So I've been trying to find stuff here and there and just make like a 5-hour playlist that you can just like put on. And, we have Self-Hypnosis to Quit Smoking. That's a record I just found yesterday. So they get really specific.
This is super cool to hear about. As a music fan in general, a folk music fan in particular, and as someone who read only biographies of Alan Lomax for like 18 months in a row,
Yeah.
it's really cool to hear what you're doing in, 2019, 2020 to make it accessible to people. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. And then, and then at Folkways now, and over the last like 3 or 4 years, we've transitioned from, people always thought of us as just like an archival label. Like we have all this stuff from the past, and what are we doing in the future? Oh, are you just reissuing another Woody Guthrie record or something like that? And for a lot of years, like, yeah, maybe that was mostly true. But over the last like 3 or 4 years, we've really transitioned to working with developing artists again. Because when Folkways was new and around, it's not like they were working with stuff from the past only and being a historical label. They were working with Woody Guthrie and Leadbelly and Pete Seeger, who were all around. So we've transitioned back towards that and working with tradition bearers as they come now. And so, we have, over the last few years, we've had really exciting records from people like Anna and Elizabeth, or Lula Wiles, or Dom Flemons, or Our Native Daughters, which is Rhiannon Giddens and Layla McCullough and Allison Russell, and so we've just, we've been working with more contemporary musicians that are touring and getting out there and spreading the gospel of whatever tradition that they're holding. So that's been a really, really cool thing, to go to work and actually talk to artists instead of just like, yeah, Woody Guthrie would have cared about this or something. I don't know what he cared about. I mean, I do a little bit, but not personally.
Well, I hope, we're only meeting right now. I hope that we get to continue having conversations like this over time. This is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else you want to say about how you're passing the time while we're all stuck at home? We did mention the live streaming Folkadelphia and cooking and dancing and drinking heavily.
Yes.
And your
Lots of
work.
drinking.
Yeah. And your work. And is there anything else you're doing that's helping you get through this?
Yeah, I mean, so, just to go back, so the commission project, we just put out the record on Wednesday, and we've raised now, just over a course of a few days, we've raised just over $1,500, which for me, so I was talking to a lot of people just before it came out, and they were like, what does success look like for you for this project? And I said, it doesn't matter, it's all a win, because if people donated, that means that I can do another volume of it and I can get money to other people and we can start the whole process again. If nobody gave a shit, no one gave money or anything like that, it was still a win, because I was able to give $100 to 10 to 15 artists and they don't have to worry about going to the grocery store at least once, right? I mean, to me, it was a good thing. And yeah, people might say, well, oh, you're cutting into your Folkadelphia money, the money that you use to buy equipment or whatever. But the thing is, we don't need that money right now. And if in the future I do need that money, I'm sure people will come to our our aid and our benefit to help us out. But right now, I don't need the help. I have a job. I'm so thankful to have a job still, especially in something I enjoy doing. And many people don't have a job anymore. So how can I help them out? And so this is just a very small way that we can do that. And so anyway, the way I've been spending my time right now is I'm thinking about volume 2. It's only, it's less than a week into it, but I'm afforded this great opportunity now with the amount of donations that have come in I don't have to worry about, can we start a new recording? I can say, yes, definitively, we can start reaching back out to people or reaching out to new people. And so if people are here watching this and are interested in contributing to this co-mission project, where we're going to give you a small payment for you to make a recording at home, it's going to be part of a compilation, and you're basically paying it forward. All the money we'll get from this compilation will fund new commissions. Reach out to me. You can find more information at Folkadelphia.com, Folkadelphia.bandcamp.com, which is where the compilation lives right now, or you can email me directly at fred@Folkadelphia.com. So yeah, I'm spending my time thinking about the next wave of that. Besides that, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing on my Nintendo Switch, which is a thing that many Americans and people worldwide, I think, are doing. It's not even a real game. It's an awful game. You have a house on an island, and then you want to make your house bigger, and you go into debt, and then you have to pay off your debt by chopping down trees and shit. It's a little too lifelike, but at least you're really cute looking. So I'm into that.
It's becoming part of our shared cultural frame of reference very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been hanging out with my cat Rodney, who is jumping back on the couch behind me. I'm pretty nerdy. Besides playing, Animal Crossing, I'm also very into that card game Magic the Gathering.
Cool.
So I've been, luckily there's all these sort of apps and things you can do online right now. So I've been playing with other people online. I also really like board games, and we've figured out a way to do board games online. There's a site I've been using called like boardgamearena.com, where there's like 100 games on there that you can play with people. So, I've been having like Zoom meetings with people where we go online and we play a board game together. And so that's been fun, and, distracting from, reading the homepage of the New York Times or whatever.
Right. Let me ask you this. What would you be doing right now this weekend if this weren't going on?
Depending on the weather, so I just moved to an area of Washington, D.C. called Tacoma, which is right next to Tacoma Park, Maryland. And I haven't been able to explore it much. So I would be exploring. It's a beautiful area. There's lots of parks and green spaces. And so I think I would be exploring. It's a little chilly still, but it's warming up. Everything's in bloom. So I definitely would be exploring. What would you be doing?
Oh, what is the date? Oh, I would be in Mystic, Connecticut this weekend visiting a friend, some musician friends up that way. I had taken off work, was planning to be up there for a 4-day weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I hope you can get there sooner than later. Yeah.
Yeah, but the silver lining to all this, I think, is getting to find new ways to connect with people, to meet new people in this case, and seeing the kindness that people are extending to each other in a lot of ways too. That I started a list of things that I've tacked up on the wall where I've been working in my kitchen that just says all these things that are happening that would not have happened but for circumstances we're in.
That's a great idea.
Me to refocus a little bit on gratitude for what good is coming of it when it feels like there isn't anything good.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap up, why don't you recap what it is that you want people to know about the things you care about most right now, how we can find you, how we can support what you're working on, whatever else you want to say.
Sure. So my name is Fred. I host a show called Folkadelphia Radio on WXPN on Wednesday nights. But the thing that I really want to focus on is this project called Commission. It's a project where we're getting small payments to artists in need to make a home recording in the safety of their homes. We're going to non-exclusively license these recordings from folks, and we're making compilations with them. All the money that we make from these compilations, we're giving back to artists to do the whole process again, to make these home recordings. So so what I'd love for people to do is check out the compilation, first of all, folkadelphia.bandcamp.com or folkadelphia.com. But really, the focus is on each of the artists that are contributors. So Jason Anderson, Esther Rose, Roger Harvey, Anika Pyle, Sam Amadon, Caitlin DeMarais, Anna Vogelzang, Randy Scott Carroll, Mercy Bell, Bertie Bush, Mike Frazier, Nick Melvois, Joanna Warren, Michael Cormier, Jackson Pines, and Ali Dineen. These are all the contributors to the first compilation. If you go to folkadelphia.com or folkadelphia.bandcamp.com and you click each of the artists that are on there, you can read more about how the pandemic is affecting them, how you can support them. Because, the commission payment isn't a lot of money, but the good news is in this technological advanced world that we maybe live in, or not so much, you can go and directly pay these people. So go and check out Birdie Bush, for instance, and you can find on the page, you can find out the merchandise she's selling, the records she's selling. If you don't want any of those things and you just care about the cause, Venmo her, PayPal her. All of these people that are on this page, you can get money to. So as much as I want people to donate to our project commission so we can keep doing it, if you have that and supporting these artists and you're weighing your options, I don't want your fucking money. Don't give me your money. Give it to these people, because I'm not the musician. I'm a middleman in this and getting money to people. But what I really want is these people to be able to survive and hopefully thrive in this time, so that later we can see them on tour, they can be putting out records and all of that. They can just continue to do their job, which they love and they want to keep doing. And that we all benefit so much from. Every day we benefit so much from these artists. Let's help them out in this time of uncertainty and just, people being scared. So that's what I'm pushing. That's what I'm selling here. So I want to thank you so much. Yeah. Jesus, right? Oh, geez. But I want to thank you so much for having me. I mean, any opportunity I have to tell the sort of story of what we're doing and the story of these artists, I'll take. I'll degrade myself to no end, if I have to wrestle in a mud pit or something just to tell the story of these artists, I will, socially distanced wrestling, but whatever.
I appreciate that you used Birdie as an example. I see that she's on the chat here. She has played in York a bunch. She played the series that I run, Cable House Presents, I think our first season. And she's played at Sign of the Wagon a bunch of times, which is a wonderful house concert venue that my friends run just a few blocks from where my venue is. Mine is a pop-up venue. It's not really a venue. We rent a space once a month. And I also see David Dye's name on the chat, which made my heart jump a little bit. I'm a huge fan of David Dye, one of my favorite interviewers on the planet, along with Joe Pug. Joe Pug is also an excellent interviewer. He has a podcast called The Working Songwriter, which is my favorite podcast.
And he's going to be on this live stream variety show today.
He will be. I'll be talking to him at 2 p.m. Eastern. Up next at 1 p.m. for those of you listening, I'll be talking to David and/or Suze from David Wax Museum, depending on what the kids are doing at the time the call's supposed to start. So it'll be both of them or one of them. And then at 3 o'clock, I'm talking to Owen Lyman Schmidt. He's from the band Driftwood Soldier out of Philly. Yeah. He's a friend of mine. And to wrap up at 4 o'clock today, I'll be talking to my friend Stu Bond, who's just across the river from me in Columbia, Pennsylvania. Like I said, this is the 5th Sunday I've been doing this, and it's how I'm marking the time, and it's how I'm staying sane. And I really appreciate you being a part of it. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Fred. Thank you.
Bye. See you. Bye.